Welcome to Standing in the Sunlight with Cynthia Rose. We are all on an ever-unfolding unique journey. Join Cynthia Rose as she begins her unique perspective to all that is meaningful. Topics and personalities that support your path, bringing inspiration and passion and heart-centered ways to live a more fulfilling life. A down-to-earth and uplifting sharing of what it means to be spiritual, creative, and living life to the fullest by standing in the sunlight. Born an intuitive medium, Cynthia Rose is also an ordained minister, singer, astrologer, educator, and writer. She has studied the intuitive and healing arts for over 40 years. Rise up and stand in your sunlight now with Cynthia Rose.
Happy New Year, January 2nd, 2019. I'm excited to be here with you. I'm Cynthia Rose, your host. I am coming to you today from Denver, Colorado. And if you're listening live, then welcome. There's a Facebook page, Standing in the Sunlight Radio, that Brendan monitors. Please join us there. You have to request to join. And I would love it if you'd like me on Cynthia Rose Medium on my page. And if you're listening on playback, that's terrific. If you would like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, then nicely, neatly is a little playlist of all the OMTimes shows. And it's as simple as going to Cynthia Rose Medium and clicking subscribe. Easy peasy. I would love it if you would do that. You can also listen on OMTimes, on the playbacks. You can listen to the archives. I think we're on iHeart, iTunes, so many places. But the YouTube channel is a great way to have everything organized. So that being said, I'm really happy to be here with you. Also, if you came to Instagram or Twitter, you can connect with me all those places. So here we are, 2019. Where did that year go, huh? So quickly. So today, with this brand new year, I'm going to share some thoughts on how to stay empowered. And we'll even play a little music from the album Standing in the Sunlight. We'll do that in a few minutes. But first of all, I have a few things to say to you. So, there is... this is an important year, being the last year of the decade. It may bring some endings for some of you. It may be aware that endings need to happen. We also may be trying to think about what we want to bring in. It's a very important year, and it's a 3-year numerology. It highlights creativity, and that I thought it would be great to start with possibilities from the album Standing in the Sunlight, and we could listen to that, and we could talk about what that song brings up after. So as soon as we get that lined up, we'll have you listen to that, and you can stretch your legs, a glass of water, groove along, and then we can talk. And let yourself dream and imagine. There are so many possibilities. What if? Nothing happens without a thought. A thought is energy, and we are energy. Our thoughts are energy. And so that song that we're going to play, Possibilities, takes you on a little bit of a journey. And slightly meditative, slightly groovy. So there were many that inspired me on my journey. And I hope to inspire you. There's so much more possible if you allow it. If you've been dreaming, it may be time to act. And if you haven't been dreaming, then it's time to dream. We have Mars in Aries. The collective feels some kind of sense of wanting to get going. We may not know where we want to go. We just may feel an impulse to go. So, this year willingness rate changes for many. And this year will bring them for some of us, whether we want them or not. Perhaps we need to focus on body, mind, and spirit. But first, we need to listen to that song, Possibilities, which probably producer is trying to line up right now. And I'll just say,
of light breaking through, shining on pools of truth. Now you can see it, let it go, and feel the flow. Free your soul, find the gold within you. It's your show. Grab a hold on to possibilities, lead you through a sea of choices. Possibilities. Speaking dreams into shape, feeling light, feeling great. You can embrace it. Time to move, time to choose. Paint your dream or sing the blues. Cradle your treasure, let it go. And feel the flow. Free your soul. Find the gold deep inside of you. It's your show. Grab a hold onto possibilities. Lead you through a sea of choices. Possibilities. Let it go and feel the flow. Free your soul. Find the gold within you. It's your show. Grab a hold onto possibilities. Lead you through a sea of choices. Let it go. Feel the flow. Free your soul. Find the gold deep inside of you. It's your show. Grab a
All right, we're back. That was Possibilities from Standing in the Sunlight with the extraordinary Miles Black, which I co-wrote that with him, which was a very fun project. Brings up a lot of things. Paint your dream or sing the blues. We often like to take credit for the things that we create that are wonderful, or perhaps we don't, or we don't want to take credit for what's awful. Now, if something horrible has happened, I'm not saying we should walk around thinking I created this. No, don't misunderstand me. But this is a new year. This is a time to initiate change. And I'm just going to start with the fact that we're mind, body, and spirit. And our bodies house our souls on this earthly realm, our spirits. We are spirits first, but our bodies house that. And maybe this could be the year to look after our bodies and nourish them. Find how to nourish them, work in balance with the body. Because being spiritual does not mean ignoring the body, but working in harmony with. Are you looking for support in this area? Interested in either eating healthier, losing weight? If you are interested in joining me in a private Facebook page to support each other, then message me on Facebook through Cynthia Rose Medium. I'm not a person who creates resolutions every year, but I feel called to create some support in this area. I see a lot of people trying to do good things and maybe not always getting to pay attention to their own health, maybe, or their maybe you want to lose weight, maybe you just want to eat healthier. And that's just going to be offered for listeners if you'd like that. If we have a group of us that want to do that and create that support, fabulous. Love to hear from you. So find me on Facebook, like my page, and send me a message. And don't forget to join us in Standing in the Sunlight Radio. This is a year to create a better sense of community. Now, I'm not one to say just online, of course not, but online can be a great way to create support when we're busy and we don't have a lot of time. We have, if it's support that's uplifting, that helps us move forward. If some action is required for you to feel better, then please join in. Okay. Let 2019 be the year to bring healing to your body itself. And if you're struggling with a larger health issue, then all the more important to do that. So now that we're focused on having a healthy body, how about healthy spirit? Well, think how many times we forget to pay attention to our spirit. We pay attention to our body, maybe. We pay attention to our emotions, or our minds. But let this be the year that we acknowledge ourselves in spirit every day. Find that gold within you. Speak your dreams into shape. Absolutely. That song is a mantra supporting you in creating the life you want. So however that is that you're interested in that, I have some things to share with you about that. And then I would love to tell you about some opportunities that can help you and support you in that way. But what does it mean to speak your dreams into shape? Well, first of all, you've got to cast off the thoughts and the patterns of thinking. We often can be aware of how our thinking gets in the way. Body, mind, spirit. The mind could get in the way. How are we limiting ourselves with our mind? If we're thinking only with our linear mind, then we may not be seeing all the possibilities. Time this year to start thinking with our soul mind. In this moment, right here, right now, take a breath with me and realize that you are so much more. Honor that. I am so much more than I realize. I am willing to be aware of more of myself. I can make a difference. You can. Everybody can. There are so many inspiring stories of people. If you're feeling that you need inspiration, then that should be one of your goals this year, to stay inspired. You know, many of us have patterns of thinkings that hold us back from more. We may not realize it. So reclaim that right here and right now. I reclaim all of who I am. I stand in my power in a field of love now in this moment. That's what you have, is the moment to moment. The past is the past unless you keep bringing it into the present. Let the past go. Let it go. Feel that flow in the moment. If you're with me, buckle up. And we are there in this moment. You can be there right now in this moment. Empower that moment. Who you are, all of you, not just your body self, your soul self. Be with me. Join me in this moment. Intention is a huge part of it. Breathe it in. And as you breathe out, let go of any of those limiting thoughts. Be aware that they may come up. But are you going to let them rule your mind, or are you going to rule your mind? That mind needs training. That mind needs to be used like a computer. The mind thinks patterns. That's what it does. It's a computer. And I often use the example that if you buy a blue car, you then see blue cars everywhere, because that's how the mind works. We think that the mind is working us. Well, it might be if we're operating in that way, but we are working the mind. We can create so much more. And I truly believe that we have all the answers within us. Now, I know that we can block hearing, seeing, and knowing, but I know they are there. If you meditate, you may have noticed how when something is coming up that you need to look at, that you might feel resistance to. Well, the meditation is something that you would feel resistance to. Whether you do it or not, that's a practice. So let this be a year where you bring in a healthy practice to support your spiritual self. Because I know that those answers are there. There are no lucky ones or chosen ones. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity and synchronicity. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity and synchronicity. And chosen ones are people who have let go of fear, prepared themselves for opportunity and synchronicity. So think about that for a moment. And how can you gently challenge yourself this year? When we come back, let's talk about that. Get a glass of water. Join me in a couple of minutes. I'm so glad you're here. Happy New Year.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On. My passion is sifting through information, research and innovations from New Thought teachers, speakers and researchers, pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Hi, this is recording artist and composer Yuval Ran, inviting you to a voyage through the chakras, a new double album of guided meditations to transform your life, a sublime musical medicine for nourishing inner peace and reaching to your higher virtues. Get it now at metamindfulnessmusic.com, METTA mindfulnessmusic.com.
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, talk, touch their hair. Details that only a sister can know about her girls. But what about our other girls? The ones we carry with us every day. Our bond with our sister girls gives life. But knowing your breasts can save it. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. Brought to you by Susan G. Komen and the Ad Council.
Okay, we're back. And I was saying, how can you gently challenge yourself this year? Well, first of all, let's look at fear. The mind creates a fear that holds us in place, creates stagnation or inertia, or fear that keeps us running and spinning until something happens to still us. And although that can often be experienced as painful, it's often the very gift offered to us to be with ourselves more and create a different life. And having been through this, I can honestly say I wasn't thrilled for sure, but grateful am I, as Yoda says. I am grateful for all that's happened to me. However, if you're in the middle of a difficult time, I can understand that might be a challenge to say. Ask yourself, how can I love more? And what does that mean to you? There are many different levels of love or ways of loving. And I wanted to bring up and talk about the idea of judgment versus discernment. Judgment can be like if you find yourself weighing and criticizing others, then this mirror offers you an opportunity to love yourself at a deeper level. Because when we criticize others all the time, we're doing so and not really seeing how hard maybe we're judging ourselves, or perhaps we're not seeing our own fear-based filter and how we operate through that. Judgment is useful when deciding to cross the road or adding up numbers. And discernment. Discernment is making decisions, operating free of fear, and listening to our soul self and our own inner knowledge. You know, it aligns us with ourselves and allows us to know we're not alone, trust our choices, and follow our path. You know, I could use the example, many people will say, you know, sometimes one time I was driving and I just took a different route. I don't know, I just knew. They weren't scared, feeling like they couldn't go a certain route. They just felt somehow guided to do it in their mind. It's through discernment that we can allow the influences of our guides, of our loved ones, of our soul self to speak to us, because it connects with our knowing. Discernment connects with our knowing. Judgment does not. If you find yourself having trouble discerning and find yourself judging out of fear, then this is the year to kick that to the curb and learn to discern. Absolutely. You won't regret it. Learn to discern. One of my favorite things to teach. I love to empower you to know and discern for yourself, because that's where the sunlight is. The mind worries away, but the soul knows. So my wish for you is that will be empowered within you wherever you are on the scale of your awareness. You know, the fact that I can talk on the radio and share with you is a testament of how we can learn to discern and grow, because many of you may not know this, but I'm actually called a true introvert. There's a Myers-Briggs test, and a friend of mine was a coach, and she had me take the test. She said, I've known you for over 20 years, and it's more than that, and you're a true introvert. And I said, you mean you didn't know that? So the thing is that if you do things and you're operating from a place of discernment, how can I help? Discernment with service. A lot of these things that we worry about fall away. And if that's something that you're interested in, maybe think about how you can make a difference in your community, just a couple hours a week, and see how that feels for you. See if some things fall away. If you are wanting a sense of community, I'm really big on community. I'm big on making your own community. We often have family in this life, and some of us have family that we're able to be close to, and some of us are not close to our family. Some of us, our family's already on the other side. And wherever that fits for you, create your own community, create your own family. It's important. It is proven that people that feel connected to others and have a sense of relationship will actually feel better and live longer. It's true, apparently, in all the studies that they do. So this is the year to create more of that in a way that works for you. And you say, oh, Cynthia Rose, I'm so busy working all the time, or I have commitments with kids or parents. I don't have a lot of time. You can find a way that works for you. I'm not telling you have to fill your volunteer hours all over the place, but you can find something that works for you. And if you find yourself wanting to open up to a more loving place and you have a hard time with people, then sometimes, going and volunteering at a pet shelter or getting a pet can be a great way, because pets, if you've ever had a dog, a cat, they love unconditionally. I think dogs love unconditionally. Cats, I love cats, but cats are teachers in many ways. I think animals have a lot to teach us. I think we could talk a whole show about animals. I think I'll leave that for now. But today, we're already into 2019. It's already started. The buzz is there. And that's a collective year. See, I believe in astrology and numerology, we have a birthday year that starts from your birthday. So if your birthday was January 1st, then you're in the same cycle as the collective. It's a 3-year. And then we also have coming up February 5th this year is the Chinese New Year. And collectively we have a January New Year, and collectively there is a very strong February New Year. And I know I'm not alone. Other people have told me we both feel that shift. There's a collective movement. But if your birthday is coming up, you've got another one. If it's past, you had another year. The collective year is a 3-year, a year of creativity, a year of expression. But as I've mentioned, as a collective, I mentioned in the past, as a collective, there's been a weeding through of the beliefs over the last year. Saturn's gone into Capricorn. and some issues have been highlighted. And it has been a year of, what do I think about it? We had the Me Too movement last year, which just because we had that movement doesn't really mean it's gone. It just came to our awareness at this time. That brings me to that whole idea with the Me Too movement. In a way, to me, it really highlights the idea of power or the abuse of power, because the Me Too issue is not so much about sex, I believe, as it is about power, because rape is not sexual, it's a violent act. It's power-based. It can be anger-based, which is fear-based. So I tend to look more in the big picture. That is an issue of power. This is the year to untangle any way that you feel that you've lost your power and reclaim yourself. Where have you given your power away, or where do you feel it's been taken away? This is the year to get it back. And if you're not aware of how you've given our power away, but are experiencing, unhappiness, anxiety, or generally not happy, perhaps it's the year to find out and take that road, the road less traveled. I have so much respect for that old classic, which doesn't seem that long ago to me, but it is now, The Road Less Traveled by Scott Peck. And The Road Less Traveled was all about getting honest with ourselves. That's what I took from it, a lot of it. He wrote all about really getting in and getting honest, and the path of growth and how meaningful it is. And I remember thinking, that's me, that's my path. Every little nook and cranny along my path that I could get growth from, I was interested. But he also wrote a subsequent book, People of the Lie. A Road Less Traveled, more a favorite book for me, but what I discern from these two books is just how important self-honesty is. And if you look at scriptures, and you look at ancient writing, self-honesty, so important. Everywhere I looked to building a greater knowingness, self-honesty is key. I know my knowingness is very strong, and I know self-honesty is key. Even Billy Joel wrote about it. Such a lonely word, he said. So, now that being said, no need to hold a charge on the idea of being honest or honesty, because my idea of honest may not be your idea of honest. Everybody has their different thing, but let's first things first. Self-honesty, most important, self-honesty. And when I say let's not hold a charge on it, somebody might consider a little white lie, saying, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well, I can't join you, as perfectly acceptable, where somebody else may not. They might not feel right to them. They may have to say something else. So let's just remove any judgment from that and just say self-honesty, what's important for you. So much of ourselves can be hidden from us if we don't open our ears and listen within truly and honestly. And sometimes we have things that roadblocks we put up, we don't want to see, we don't want to hear, we don't want to know. Then perhaps getting yourself some support in a way that helps you to uncover that. Give yourself that gift this year if that's been the case for you. It's so important. If you're wanting to get more meaningfulness out of your life, more joy, more happiness, maybe you're not even aware that you've put a limitation on joy. And if that's the case, then take a look around your life and what do you see? Because that gives you a really good picture of what you are believing or what you are judging. That is so important to think about. Just take a minute or two and think, And when we do go to break, think about what limitations are you experiencing? And when we come back, we'll talk about that. Perfect. Just think about that. What limitations are you experiencing? Talk to you in a couple of minutes.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free, ascendinghearts.com.
Tune in to The Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World with me, host Robin Fritz, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. I'll cover personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice, and more, all to help you tap your own intuitive and healing skills. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Hi, this is New Age Grammy winner Paul Avgerinos. Thanks for listening to OMTimes Radio, and please support my peaceful healing music with a purchase at iTunes, Amazon, or wherever you shop for fine music. Just put my name into the search engine, Paul Avgerinos. A, V like Victor, G like George, E-R-I-N-O-S. You can also visit me at roundskymusic.com. Thanks for listening, and I'm wishing you the brightest of blessings.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Okay, we're back for the last section. So I asked you to just take a moment and think about what limitations are you experiencing. So in the last year, many people have looked at their relationships of all kinds and asked, am I in a relationship? I say that in a collective way because of the way the planets were moving and what was going on, and so there was a collective question, and many people were looking at themselves. Who am I? Who am I in relationship? Do I want a relationship? How is this relationship working for me? A lot more complex than that, but that's one thing that came up. Relationship comes to the idea of what limitations do you put on your relationship? Are you expecting your significant other to fill all of your needs? Are you creating a box for them to sit in and they refuse to sit in it? That can be. Or are you holding on to a relationship that isn't working for you? If you get really still about it, some of those answers, there's a knowingness there. There's always a knowing. Whether we clear the deck so that we're willing to see it, that's another one. So we come back to self-honesty here and create support for yourself in finding that if you need to. Sometimes we need to be heard to figure things out. And if you are interested, you can always write to yourself. That's a personal way to do it. But don't be afraid to ask for help. And we've also had collective questions on our belief system, which has been challenged. And now it's the year to say what we stand for. My motto is Carpe Diem. Sure, make your plans for tomorrow, but remember to live today as if it's your last. But I don't see anything wrong with that one. That is just so important, because this moment is all you have. Do you know that the present, that's the gift, that's the moment. The past is gone. The future, well, it's not here yet. You can speak it in the present as if it's here and be grateful for it, but this is the moment. Don't spend your moments. Think about this for a moment. How much time do you spend thinking about the past or thinking about the future? And how much time do you actually spend in this moment right now, enjoying it? And that tells you a lot right there. Because there's levels of awareness in this moment that we can go deeper and deeper and deeper into. And that's where the joy is. The joy is not in the anticipation of tomorrow or the joy of yesterday. It's in this moment. So if you want more joy in your life, think about how much time you're actually present in the moment, or how much your mind is running programs from yesterday and tomorrow. So important. And as you come to that awareness, maybe there are some things, if you find yourself like in the past or in the future, uncomfortable in the moment, then maybe you have a hard time with being judgmental on yourself. You know, in the end, if we're judging others, we're judging ourselves at some level. It's just, we can only handle so much fear, so we put it out there. You know, my mom used to say, you must walk a mile in someone's shoes before you judge them, and you can't. You can't walk in their shoes. You can walk beside them. You know, so remind yourself that, because you never know what someone's truly going through completely. You can even feel connected to them somewhat, you can love them, and you're still not standing where they are, carrying their burdens. Maybe this is the year to develop more compassion or a deepening of it. And having compassion for oneself, well, that's a big one right there, isn't it? Because there are so many of us out there that are trying to make a difference in the world who may be pushing and judging ourselves. Remind yourself that compassion is a skill, an awareness. Take a breath. Just as much as you can't see all the burdens someone's carrying, you may not see all you're carrying. You may be so busy with everything that's going on that maybe you need a reflection of, oh yeah, I didn't realize that. Maybe you need that. And you say to me, well, how am I supposed to find that, Cynthia Rose? Oh, whatever that is, that's slowing down. That's getting still. Finding a place where you can hear that. When you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning out of a dream, that's telling you something. When you wake up before it's time to wake up, is what I mean. There, and you remember something, or you have a feeling, what you feel when you wake up, that's telling you something. Listen to that. Take a moment to check in with yourself. That's telling you something. So compassion is a big one. And of course, gratitude. I can never say enough about gratitude. You'll always hear me speak about that. Because it doesn't matter how much we have, but how much we appreciate what we have. I've known people that have nothing, that have so much joy and happiness and gratitude, and I've known people that have everything, that are happy, that are not happy. So you're in charge of how happy you are. Don't expect someone to bring you that happiness. It's your job. Let this be the year to be happy. Don't worry, be happy, right? That's so important. Body, spirit, mind. Let this be the year that you bring all of those into alignment. And maybe take a few minutes in the evening. If it's evening for you, perfect, after this show. If you're listening and you have a few minutes after, whether it's on playback or live, what do you feel needs to come into balance with mind, body, spirit? What is that? Because you'll never go wrong in trying to work on the alignment of those. So challenge yourself this year. Maybe even write it down. When you put it in writing, something happens. Something says, oh, I'm holding myself to that. And maybe you're interested in developing your psychic or mediumship gifts. Maybe you're interested in having a better ability to meditate, to learn energy work, healing. Or maybe you just want to take a soul journey and understand a deeper part of yourself. I offer soul journeys. I offer mediumship, of course. And it's a great time of year to maybe do a combination of astrology and mediumship. I offer a package where I do both of those as well. But if you're interested in developing or having a reading, I'm going to be in Bellingham, Washington. I'll be in Vancouver, BC. I'd love it if you join me in Vancouver, BC for a workshop in Vancouver, Canada. And if you're there and interested, come and stay and play. We'll stay in one of the oldest hotels. Enjoy walks by the ocean. Maybe give yourself that gift. Take a workshop of some kind that helps you, that supports you. Invest in your spirit. I've never regretted any of the investments I've made in my spirit. Or perhaps you'd like to come and join myself and I, spirit artist, medium Joe Shield at Historic Lilydale in New York. That would be fun. That's in the spring as well. I'll be hosting the amazing Tony Stockwell here for wonderful workshops. Denver, Bellevue, so much going on. I don't want to go on and on. I'm just saying there is so much. Your life, your path. That's what mediumship is. It's your path. It's not a do. It's your path. So I hope if I can support you in any way that you'll reach out, because that's what I'm here for. So remember to think with your soul mind. And I know many of us have things where we feel like we need our logical mind, our linear mind. There is a way to bridge the gap between those two. And I believe that people like Tesla or Einstein or Jung, they were bridging the gap between the two. It wasn't Pollyanna, it was realistic for them. They were bridging the gap between their linear mind and their soul mind. Isn't that where invention comes from? My father was quite an inventor, and I really think that's where he was coming from. It's like something would pop into his head, but he had a strong mind as well. Because remember, everything we do comes through the mind. So you could be absolutely, I'm sure you have a beautiful soul self, but how are you visioning that about yourself? Get off your back this year. Let it go. Feel the flow. It's time. We need your light. We need your gift. You have a vibration that is unlike anybody else. Do you know, I think we have time for In a Quiet Moment. I'd like you to listen to that song if you could join me. It actually was written at Christmas time. I was going to be singing at a church, and I said a little prayer and asked for help writing the song before I went to bed, and I woke up and all of these words came out, just flowed out. Miles Black wrote the music, and we are going to listen now. Just take a few breaths and listen to In a Quiet Moment now.
plays its special part. Love carries the melody that lives within our hearts. A priceless treasure free for all who are willing to receive. Belief in the power of sweet serenity. In a quiet moment when the listener can be heard, you know in an instant that love's the only word. In a quiet moment when the listener can be heard, you know in an instant that love's the only word. I treasure such a moment, and I listen to the calm. Let love weave its magic thread and sing its certain song. The greatest gift ever received is knowing love within. Our divinity resides here, with love's graceful hymn. In a quiet moment when the listener can be heard, you know in an instant that love's the only word. In a quiet moment when the listener can be heard, you know in an instant that love's the only word.
So I hope you took a moment to just slow down and breathe in some love for yourself, perhaps love for an animal. I was listening to that and I was thinking about cats. So I said something about cats. You know, cats. I think my cat taught me to be more flexible, more accepting, more patient. Because there's no bossing a cat, right? Cats, they rule the roost. We have a queen and she's the boss. And she is a very kind ruler. She doesn't walk around bossing us. It's actually our male cat that does. And he's only a duke, not a queen, so, you know, he feels he needs to assert himself. But animals can bring such joy in our life. If you live alone and you can accommodate having an animal, if not, go volunteer somewhere. Or go volunteer for some humans and help some others. That gives you a sense of connection. So important. I really hope that some of what I've said has inspired you to make some changes, to be kinder to yourself and kinder to others. And remember, it's one foot in front of the other, left foot, right foot. I'll be here week after week, joining you, supporting you on your path. And you need to jump in and support your path deeper. If you're struggling with something, be patient, kind. Find your connections, your compassion, and find the deeper meaning, because isn't that what it's all about? Finding the deeper meaning in life, enjoying. And always gratitude, an important feature of a joyful, happy life. So until next week, we'll have Dr. Manny Mataz talking about the borders of normal. Have a fantastic week. Happy New Year. Much love. Bye for now.